Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I think pretty much everyone has felt. That dreaded moment when you're put on the spot, your mind goes completely blank, and you're just stuck. What if I told you there's a way to conquer that feeling for good?
You know, who better to capture this feeling than Mark Twain, right? He famously said it usually takes him more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech. I mean, think about that for a second. It's so ironic, but it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It shows how much pressure we really put on ourselves in those moments.
And seriously, we've all been there. You're in a meeting, maybe just chatting with colleagues, and someone turns to you and hits you with those 3 little words. What do you think? Bam! Instantly, your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty, and your brain just kinda checks out. It's like a giant spotlight just swung right onto you. It's such a universal feeling, but it really doesn't have to be this way.
Okay, so let's start right there. With that feeling, let's call it the spotlight's terrifying glare. Because before we can fix this, we've got to understand why it has such a powerful, almost paralyzing hold on so many of us.
I mean, think about it. These moments are absolutely everywhere. Your boss suddenly calls on you in a huge Zoom meeting. A colleague corners you in a cramped elevator, asking for your take on something. An interviewer throws you a curveball question at a dinner. The pressure is just on. You feel like you have to sound smart, you have to sound put together.
But inside our heads, it doesn't feel like a simple conversation. Not at all. It feels a lot more like a catastrophe waiting to happen. And that's really the feeling, isn't it? It's not spontaneous communication, it's more like spontaneous combustion. A complete and total meltdown of all your thoughts, right at the exact moment you need them the most.
And hey, if you think this is just a you problem, listen to this. You are in very, very good company. Even famous movie directors aren't immune. Back in 2014, the blockbuster director Michael Bay was on stage at a huge electronics show, and his teleprompter just died. He was supposed to be talking about, well, his own movies, a topic you'd think he'd know inside and out. But nope, he completely froze, couldn't find the words, and ended up just having to apologize and walk right off stage.
So you see, this is exactly how that fear gets its hooks in us. It just takes one negative experience, maybe getting called on by a teacher when you were a kid and freezing up, and that can trigger a whole lifetime of avoiding these situations. It becomes this really nasty, vicious cycle, right? The anxiety makes you perform poorly, which then feels like proof that you're just bad at it, and that, of course, just ramps up the anxiety for the next time.
Okay, so how in the world do we break that cycle? Well, the secret isn't some magic trick to become a perfect speaker overnight. It's actually much simpler, but also way more profound. It all starts with a huge mindset shift. We need to stop seeing these moments as a performance and start seeing them as a conversation.
You know the story we tell ourselves. Things like, oh, I'm just not a natural at this. Or, I'm more of a numbers person, not a talker. But here's the thing. That is probably the biggest myth holding us back. Spontaneous speaking isn't some inborn talent you either have or you don't. It is absolutely 100% a skill that you can learn.
And this is where we really mess ourselves up. We'll give an off-the-cuff answer in a meeting, and then we'll judge ourselves against the standard of like a perfectly polished, endlessly rehearsed TED Talk. That is a massive mistake. It's like comparing a fun, casual jam session with your friends to a sold-out concert at Carnegie Hall. It's a totally unfair comparison, and it just paralyzes you.
So this right here, this is the whole game. We have to completely change the goal. The old goal was perfection, right? The scripted TED Talk. The new goal is connection. It's a live jazz improv session.
Yeah, just think about it like jazz. You're not trying to hit every single note perfectly. That's not the point. The point is to improvise, to adapt, to listen to what's going on around you, and to just stay in the groove with everyone else. The goal shifts from performing at people to creating something with them, right there in the moment. All right, so now that we've got the mindset right, let's get practical. Let's talk about your actual toolkit. I'm talking about a few simple but really powerful tools you can start using, like today.
And look, we're not going to overwhelm you with 100 different tips. The whole method really just boils down to 3 core steps. Step 1, tame that anxiety, that physical fight or flight response. Step 2, find a simple structure to organize your thoughts on the fly. And step 3, focus your message so it's clear, concise, and actually lands with your audience.
Now, that idea of structure might sound a little counterintuitive. Like, doesn't structure kill spontaneity? But no, it's actually the opposite. It's a total game changer. Think back to that jazz musician. They improvise over a known chord progression, right? That structure doesn't trap them, it enables them. It frees them up to be creative because they're not worried about getting lost.
And here they are. These are some of those roadmaps, your go-to structures. Honestly, think of these like a Swiss Army knife for communication. Let's just take the first one,
What, so what, now what? It's so simple. You just state your main point. That's the what. Then you explain why it matters, the so what, and finally, you say what happens next, the now what. It's super simple, super versatile, and it can give you instant clarity in pretty much any situation.
So, okay, we've got the new mindset and we've got our new toolkit. Now let's see how we can take all this and truly transform those awkward, awful, dreaded moments into actual, genuine opportunities. But look, let's be real. Mastering this stuff is like learning a sport. It's not a switch you just flip overnight. It's going to take practice. You have to give yourself permission to mess up, to experiment, to just try things. And remember, every time you stumble, it's not a failure. Think of it as a rep at the gym. It's just making you stronger. And as you put in those reps, something really cool starts to happen, a fundamental shift. Those situations that used to fill you with dread, they start to look totally different. Small talk isn't this awkward chore anymore. It's an opportunity to actually connect with someone. A Q&A session isn't some terrifying trial by fire. It's your chance to clarify things and add real value. Answering, "What do you think?" Well, that becomes your moment to shine.
And this right here is the biggest takeaway of all. It's the most important mental shift you can make. These spontaneous moments are not trials you have to survive. They are opportunities. Opportunities to be seized, opportunities to share what you think, to connect with other people, and, to let them see a little more of who you really are.
Because trust me, that next big moment is coming. It could be in a meeting tomorrow, at a dinner next week, or in your next interview. But this time, it's going to be different. This time, you're going to be ready. Not with some perfect, memorized script, but with the tools and the confidence to just connect. Your next big moment is waiting. The only question is, are you ready?